one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
Oh, welcome into Discover Crypto. I am the Druth, and we are riding into the sunset. Absolute chaos has broken out of the White House this weekend as a potential end to the government shutdown is right around the corner. And Trump is now floating Stimmy Check 2.0, and we have some crazy data to take a look at the last time American taxpayers received Stimmy checks. It's going to kind of blow your mind. Welcome to the show. Oh, and we have to start it off this way. Really, Huck? We got to start it off this way? This is how you're going to do me? I made you fish taco.
You are banned!
Unbelievable. The welcome to the show, everybody except for Huck, okay? Everyone except for Huck, welcome to the show. I love and appreciate every single one of you for joining me on the channel today. It's a beautiful day. And you know what? I want to say hello to Josh Dallas, Ninja Glock, Edwin, Sufficient Enough, Muhammad, good to see you, J King, Laserface, Abandoned Soul, all the peeps joining us. And if you can, take time to like the stream and share the stream out with everybody out in the interwebs. We want to get the alpha to them as well. And what is up, BC Alden? Good to see you, one of the best mods in the business. Now, without further ado, we have to dig into the news today, folks. We have Trump's mega bull market signal coming to us from all angles, quantitative tightening coming to an end at the beginning of December, and quantitative easing almost looking like a guaranteed situation for the U.S., and Bitcoin coiling up more than it really ever has in its entire history, as altcoins are getting ready for a comeback, folks. This is a beautiful day. And I also did pad out my positions. I've dropped those positions. I added 2 in the Discord. We got a link down in the description, but let's get into the show here and take a look at the first set of information that I feel is very important for us to pay attention to on this beautiful Monday afternoon. Make sure to follow me at Druth Crypto on Twitter. We are live right there right now. Bitcoin, just a quick vibe check. We're at a 105.5, and we did not continue to break down after that nasty sell-off to about $98,000. Bitcoin trying to make a comeback that'll leave bears in shambles. People have been capitulating their bags over the past month, assuming the 4-year cycle is going to rinse and repeat. And if you are in that camp, I do implore you to please go look at some very important information that Kelly Kellum had dropped this weekend. Some important information that I think every single one of you out there needs to see. Now, this is the video. Kelly dropped a lot of alpha in this video. It's called Urgent Bitcoin Warning, Crypto Carnage Incoming. And it's talking more concisely about the actual liquidity and the flow of the business cycle and the American liquidity that is floating around right now. I think that is worth a watch for everyone that's sitting there wondering what the hell is going on as they capitulate their bags, sometimes at a loss, in what is my opinion, the buildup of a bull market of a century. Now, coin market cap showing some fear still at a 29. We also have a Bitcoin controlled market right now with a 30 on the altcoin index, not alt season, not time for altcoins, and a market cap coming in at $3.5 trillion. Some of the big winners today: World Liberty Financial, Starknet, official Trump token, MYX Finance trying to make a comeback, Hedera, HBAR, XRP, good signal of a retail. It's like the canary in the coal mine for retail interest, folks, and it's showing a 9% gain on the day, trying to climb back up near that $3 mark. This is the canary in the coal mine. It's telling us what's coming: Injective, Plasma as well, and Pump Fund. But you know what? I added to some positions. I bought Bitcoin and then some deep altcoins that we've been researching for years, hit extreme lows over the course of the last few weeks. And you know what? I took a stab at them. So maybe I'm crazy or maybe I'm a genius. Time will tell. Ooh, the hair got a little bit messed up under the hat. It's getting a little bit cold out here in Georgia. It's going to snow. Unfortunately, it's going to snow, it looks like, here in Georgia. So having to get the homestead ready for it, having to get the chickens warmed up for the mess to come. But here's the other mess to come on a macroeconomic sense. $2,000 stimmy checks, right? This is a thing the White House put out, all money left over from the $2,000 payments made to low and middle income U.S. citizens from the massive tariff income pouring into the country from foreign countries will be substantial. In his words, will be used to substantially pay down the national debt. So what's left of the tariff income is going to be utilized on paying down the national debt. Will it make a substantial difference over time? Potentially, if he keeps the tariffs in place. The question is, can you keep the tariffs in place, or will there just be simple political jockeying, concessions made between countries, and then back to business as usual type situation? But there might be a macro 4D play at hand here. This is from Nick Crypto. Did Trump just pull a 4D macro play? Hand out $2,000 tariff dividends to the public. Court strikes down the tariffs as unlawful, but mind you, the court won't be able to make this decision on if Trump's movements are unlawful or not until the beginning of 2026 at the earliest, forcing the government to refund roughly $1 trillion to importers. The original funds are already spent, so another $1 trillion gets printed to make businesses whole, with the $2 trillion of new liquidity entering the system. Cheaper imports ease inflation, and suddenly the Fed has cover to start cutting rates. If this plays out, everyone's bags get heavier. This is an absolutely insane time. Absolutely insane time. So then we got Dingo here. Supreme Court will deny the tariffs, and then we'll have to pay back the $2K. I think the American citizens will have to pay back the $2K, but the U.S. government will have to print to fix the hole. Good morning. Good afternoon, Indy Halo. What's up, Memetics? Maybe Memetics have been trolling AI agents. God, where is the Upsiders TA analysis? Man, that thing's been hallucinating lately. Now, Johnson within the U.S. Government here has been telling House members to begin returning to Washington, further signals that they're getting close to coming to a deal in concessions. Really, I think that lawmakers don't want the holidays to come about and then the airports basically coming to a lock and a halt. This is probably playing into, and yes, they on the outside to the public look like they're at odds and ends with each other. They all work for the same thing. There's probably some pretty concise consensus between the Democrats and Republicans on when to reopen the government, just to keep everyone's heads low and make them pay for the political partisanship that we have all built up over the last few years. Got Patton McCrotch. God damn. Patton, why are you the way that you are?
are banned!
You guys are making me do overtime here on the bannings here today. Unbelievable. All right. Now, well, as I said, Trump might be getting ready to allow Jerome Powell to lock in, and the quantitative easing is going to come in a few different forms, in my opinion. Adding to the balance sheet for the Federal Reserve is the likely first and foremost move. A Crypto Rand follows me. Crypto Rand, give me a shout out. You know what? I'm going to give you a follow, buddy. Now, the overall thought is that there's no way they can cut rates into this inflationary environment. Yes, they can. And they've scammed the American public over and over again as a central bank. It is not controlled by the government. It has no reserves, yet it's called the Federal Reserve. So combine that scam in your mind and just understand the psyop that is going on at a cultural level, at a countrywide level. And we have some Fed insights here that we'd have to take a look at. So Fed President Muslim said that limited room to ease policy further. Monetary policy is closer to neutral than modestly restrictive. Stock prices and house prices are relative, saying that the stock prices and house prices are too damn high. There's no way we could cut interest rates in this environment. I think he's just posturing. Really, it seems like it's just posturing. We may as well go to the CME Fed tool, go take a look after all the new data has came out, right? To see where the CME tool is looking at for potential interest rate cuts into the next Fed meeting and the meetings Beyonce. So as things sit right now, we have a Fed meeting coming up in 29 days. It's going to be happening on the 10th of December. And it's weighted towards a 25 base point cut right now, but not with absolute vigor. We notice that this is only a 61% likelihood of a rate cut in December. So there is some discussion back and forth. And I want to know from the chat, from you, do you think that the Federal Reserve is going to do yet another 25 base point cut in the month of December? 1 for yes and 2 for no. I want to get where the crowd's consensus is, because obviously we have the Fed CME tool here to look at, but I feel like I got one of the smartest chats in the entire crypto industry. So let me know, if you may, are we getting that cut or not? Dingo thinks yes. JB says no. Seth says no. Let me hear it. I want to know from you guys. Bacon, Huck. Okay, you're just looking to get banned again. You're just looking to get banned again. Okay. Unbelievable. Oh, God. Every time I see Huck's comments, it makes me sweat. Jesus. All right. What up, Crypto Crank? Good to see you, man. Looking forward to having you back on the show. Fantastic TA. So we see a lot of okay, that guy's given a 4. Okay. 2, I mean, you didn't understand the assignment. Okay. 2, not till next year, T. Owen. It's a very split consensus. Kylo, what are you doing? I've banned too many people. I can't keep banning people. They can't turn the show into just a ban. Shout out to you, Johnny December. Member for 20 months. Finally catching alive. Good to see you, man. He's living out the dream out there. Floating around, scuba diving, living on the island life. Shout out to you, Johnny. Now, let's talk about Bitcoin. On the daily chart, Bitcoin reclaimed its previous daily high, and it seems to be gaining momentum. Now, this is highlighting the MACD, the moving averages, getting ready to cross over. This is from Titan of Crypto. But you know what? These daily MACD crosses, when they happen, even if it's a failed move, end up with a very, very nice upward move for Bitcoin. So I understand the fear, the uncertainty, and Crypto Crank gave me a good insurance policy trade last week that I have implemented and keeping on the burner just in case this is the end of the bull market. I end up having a short in position that'll print all the way down. But where I think things are going in general led me to do some spot buys on Sunday with some size. I did buy some spot buys on Sunday with size because I feel like the market is going to psyop many people that are used to the 4-year cycle. And now some of the key data points that have came out. Ooh, and speaking of key data points, my boy, Kelly Kellum, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
I'm doing good, man. You know, the markets are kind of juicing us up. That Sunday video was we recorded it Friday, but I think like I said, I built a citadel up on this hill. I think we got a long way to go in 2026, but I don't want to derail you. We can dive into some data, some charts here, but let's keep on with your stories.
No, I mean, actually, my next set was actually things that you wanted to talk about. So this is actually kind of perfect timing here. If you want to take it away, because we reclaim that 50 DMA, break this down for the chat here, because this was a key thing to reclaim before the weekly candle closed. Take it away, Kelly, because you got a hill to dance on, man. You put your neck out on that weekend video, and it ended up playing out perfectly. So take it away, brother.
Well, we can't say that it's played out perfectly yet, but it definitely is starting to build that structure of a potential reversal, which is what we'll need, and new highs, not only this year, but we'll need to see at least a couple consecutive new highs next year for Sunday's video to really ring true. But I do think the considerations are here. In this case, we're seeing the 50 DMA, I think, the 50-week DMA. So this is the moving average. This is finding support, looking great. But then we've also got something that does suggest we may, even though I'm calling for midterm to macro bullishness, in the near term, we may still have a little bit more of a struggle bus. This is from On-Chain College. Hopefully you guys tuned in to that Spaces we did last Thursday, because he came on, was breaking down some great alpha. And this is one of those things I was talking about the other day on the Sunday video as well. In the near term, we could see a little bit more pain. We could chop here sideways a little bit. We could wash a little bit further down into maybe 98, 95, something like that. I'm watching for basically the funding rates, much like we've seen in all 3 of these moves before, or the 2 prior moves.
Yeah,
we're kind of in this position right here, the sort of dead cat bounce, another washout, then launch. So this is on the cards right now because we haven't really got that flip to capitulation yet, like we're seeing. But on that note, we're kind of right here at that danger zone. So we got to see what happens there because we do have the daily. I saw you had this up before. I think this is the MACD kind of flipping back, shifting into some bullishness. And then this right here, everybody keeps saying the whales are selling. Well, there's rotation, sure, but the whales just added 36,000 Bitcoin while the midsize and the retail are going, I don't know, it's a 4-year cycle. I don't know what to do. And whales are saying, I'm not looking at any multi-month nonsense. Whales are saying, I'm stacking every time the price is here around this $100,000 mark. We're 340 days in to this level. 340 days in, chopping around $100,000. Whales are still stacking like mad. I don't think there's anything to be worried about other than, do I have enough crypto in my bag?
Well, and I felt the answer to that for me was no on Sunday. So, it's when I'm looking at buying Bitcoin right now, am I going to be worried if it was 90, 80K, 100K 10 years from now? Bitcoin's going to $1 million plus in my assertion. So I don't really care about the price as long as I can keep stacking. I put off some major upgrades to the house to continue stacking into this realm. Once I saw the confluence of everything happening right now, you got the stimmy checks on the line. You got the end of quantitative tightening coming up, adding and quantitative easing actually beginning. And then all of the other things that are happening with the business cycle that you highlighted on this weekend video, it made me basically just insanely bullish. And so I did add to some Bitcoin, some altcoins. Drew dressing like he's, you know what? This is the evolved version of Drew. This is the evolved version of Drew. I have evolved. Okay. I've absolutely evolved.
Drew, I want to share with the audience that chart that I showed you that is, I'm not going to trade specifically on it, but it kind of blew my mind. This chart right here, which shows Mondays and Tuesday price action. And it's not 100% hit rate, but it's pretty darn close. Monday, you get a high. Tuesday, you get the low. Monday high, Tuesday low. Monday high, Tuesday low. Monday high, Tuesday low. Monday high, Tuesday low. It's very regular. We're kind of, it's going to be interesting to see over the next 3 days if we get another washout. But if we do, it's just, we're still watching for, already have the bull divs on the 8-hour and the 6-hour. I'd like to see them matriculate into the 12-hour and daily. So I'm very bullish here.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, I think about, that high on Monday and then the low sit in Tuesday. Weekend markets have been pretty pumpy, right? And weekend markets seem like they want to leave Wall Street behind badly. And then Wall Street wakes up on Monday morning and brings the boat back. We were talking about kind of explaining this situation to everyone. I have a friend that's calling me like, hey, should I get Bitcoin? Should I? And how would you describe Bitcoin to someone that's like, hey, I see it's at 100K. Is this worth it? Am I top blasting? How would you address that kind of person, Kelly?
I'd say, listen, have you ever heard of Harry Potter?
Indeed.
I'd say, have you ever heard of Harry Potter? Well, the best way to describe it, if you haven't looked into the dollar, if you haven't looked in, I'd say basically fiat currency, all these dollars in your pocket, is central banking. Central banking is Voldemort. Harry is Bitcoin. It's the force for good. It's a force for decentralization. It's a force to empower anybody that's participating in it. In terms of where we're at in price, I think the biggest thing that I think we all need to dispel, because it's getting difficult right now. It's at 100,000. It came from cents, right? Price is high. Well, that's where you have to do at least a little bit more research, because the research is what gives you faith about where it can and where it more likely than not is going, which is up and to the right, because the money printer is going up and to the right. And Bitcoin is the ultimate catch-all of that absolute debasement flaw in the dollar. So,
I think that, a lot of the shorter term mindset people are the ones hitting me up, asking me if it's over. And it basically goes this way. And just be careful involving your parents into crypto. Okay. It's basically gone this way. Dad, I need price to go up. I can't take this anymore. Every day I'm checking the price and it's dipping. Every day I check the price. It's bad price. Okay. I can't take this anymore, man. I have overinvested by a lot. It is what it is, but I need price to go up. Then the final message I've heard, and he hasn't talked to me since. Can the devs do something? Right. And this is the situation at hand. Much love to you, Dad. Out there. I know he's out there watching, but it is a time frame where you really have to have a long-term mindset. And right now, like I know I bought some alts in absolute chaos. I understand that. Like the alts that I bought are at insane lows, right? Insane lows. I actually just have this gut feeling that the market's about to pull off something like what the market looked like before the stimmy checks of 2020. And shout out to you, Pat and Rickrod. Shout out to you, fake news. Kelly, I don't know if you have the chart up or not right now, but can we maybe take a look at the last time Trump rolled out stimulus checks? Because I see a lot of people, and let me ask you the chat here, this. Let's say you get $2,000 in your account tomorrow. Are you jeeting it into altcoins or Bitcoin? Or give me another answer. Altcoins or Bitcoin primarily is what I'd assume most people are going to do. But I want to know if people are more interested in these deep alts that have lost a lot of footing and have kind of fallen off their old price action, or if they're more interested in just another $2,000, maybe 1.5% of a Bitcoin with that stimmy check. Because I will tell you, the last time we got stimulus checks, it was a time frame that I was able to use the stimulus check, and I used other money that I had saved up with and actually had a moratorium on the mortgage that was due. And I was very, very much so paycheck to paycheck and actually falling behind in that scenario from the area I lived in. And I jeeted everything, my entire savings, the stimulus check, everything into crypto on March 14th of 2020. And it changed my life forever. So Kelly, if you can, do you have that time frame in that chart that we can check out? Because I want to see what this
I do, but I want to even put more fuel on the fire. Okay, we're about to go new. I'm not going to say it together because of the YouTube gods, but new and clear. Okay, we're about to go new clear on these charts because it's not just the stimulus that they're about to do. I mean, guys, when you guys realize that this government shutdown is accounting for a reduction of $6.9 trillion. Now divide that out month over month. And that's what we're getting. That has been basically compounded quantitative tightening in these markets. We have the Fed rolling off their balance sheet. We have what's going on with the Fed rates, but then also the government shutdown, whether you think it impacts you or not, it accounts for 24% of the national GDP. So this is starting to show in the markets. But when you talk about the stimulus checks, this is what happened last time, basically from about right here in March. And I actually have it on this right here. I looked it up. It's in March 2020. If we can't remember when all the COVID craziness was happening, I think we all do. But it was about a 2,000% move. Okay, it's like right in here. Yeah,
on Bitcoin or on total.
This is the total. So this is Bitcoin and altcoins.
Okay.
But yeah, we went. You guys realize we're up here in the trillions. In March of 2020. The entire crypto market class, everything, Bitcoin, altcoin, everything, 262 billion. You see that number on the right? Look at this. And now we're up here in the trillions where people are worried. If we were to get the stimulus check and this were to do the exact same thing, this is just ridiculous, everybody. $73 trillion, 74.
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Now, while I think we can get to $73 trillion, this is not going to be the pump from the stimulus. Okay, we're not going to get $2,000 and everybody dumps it in and we go to $70 trillion. I just wanted to point out two things. This, in terms of directionality, is something we can look at, but not the scope. We're not going to go from this scope, sub 200 billion, up to 3 trillion. That we're not going to get that scope. I think if we got 10% of this, 10% of that. That would result in, a move. I mean, still massive, even 1 out of 10, right? The size of this market so much larger. There's so many different things at play right now, but 70 trillion, that's going to happen 2, 3, 4 cycles from now.
Yeah.
But I think the directionality and the impact of what it's going to happen. Money printing is going to have to occur. Yeah, it's going to tariffs, sure. But I don't think people realize what's coming, and they get so frustrated in the chop, so frustrated that they forget the world just woke up to Bitcoin.
Mm.
You might be exhausted. You just worked a 42-night shift, maybe a 3-year shift, maybe a 7. The world just slumbered for the last 16 years and is waking up going, what's
What?
happening? That's what's happening right
Well,
now.
it's interesting because you highlight that pump that we did last time we got stimulus checks. A conservative target comparing the two situations brings us to like that $6 to $10 trillion mark. 6 to 9 was originally my overall target to see this market pump to. And we have to take into account like stable coins are making up a much bigger portion of that. And they're even talking about Tether is acting essentially like a central bank at this point. It holds $181 billion in assets. High rates turn Tether's treasury reserves into $10 billion or more in profits. Critics are talking about it basically running like a central bank. And the time frame, like it is an interesting time frame to think about because I got into crypto for the sovereignty of the aspect, and we're watching allies from across the pond here. UK citizens are blocked from viewing their ledger. And Ledger came out with a blog post explaining multi-sig. They're blocking UK citizens from actually seeing this, what I find absolutely insane. And there's even conversations about stablecoin holdings of up to $20,000 being the cap in the United Kingdom. And this is why cold custody is king. Make sure to support our sponsor, Arculus. There's a code DC20. You can get 20% off. And I was I have buddies hitting me up. They're like, should I buy? And it's like, yeah, but you know what? The reason why is because it's actually yours, right? You can actually hold it. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that if you put money in a bank account, it is not your money anymore. Once you put that money in a bank, it is not yours, okay? It is the banks, and they use that money to go lend out and make more money of interest and investments. The velocity of your money is expanded by 10x. And I say it's your money. It's not your money. And that's what the real main point about crypto versus fiat currency that I have to make very, very clear to people, right? It's just something that is really insanity to me that people don't understand this right now. And people are waiting for the quantitative easing, and they're looking for this. They're looking for Jay Powell with those green, beautiful eyes, his sunglasses. They're looking for that gigapump, but really, the long-term black hole of finance that Bitcoin is creating is causing all finance to fall into Bitcoin because the velocity of information and communication is quickening. Shows like this one that are only talking about the importance of self-custody are hitting a higher velocity than they ever have in human history. And I think that increase is actually going to drive this movement towards Bitcoin. And I do wish the best for my friends over in the UK. I think Huck was even posting about some breakfast out in the UK. He might be out there. It's just a very important thing for us to think about, right? It's a very important thing for us to think about. I hope that they're able to retain their freedom, but you know what? Some interesting pumps over the last few months, like with Zcash. It seems like Zcash and those movements are starting to bleed into even some alts, right? Like this alt, Near, it processed $65 million in ZEC volume just yesterday, did $1.7 million in fees generated this week alone, 0.38% take rate because it's the only protocol offering native cross-chain privacy swaps without bridges. So we see Zcash taking off. Near is a background beneficiary of this. It pumped 250% monthly, but in Near intents to make money whether privacy coins go up or down, own the toll road, not the cars. It's an interesting thing for me to think about, like Near's adjacency to Zcash and the privacy move of it. Obviously, the privacy and the control mechanisms of governments are coming out. What can you chart out Near real quick for me, Kelly? Like, what are you seeing on Near in terms of charts? Is this it right here?
Yeah,
Oh, this
I
is
just
Monero.
want to show Monero. It's same thing. It's niches. When you get something sparking off like that, you see other things in the niche also make pretty nice runs. Look at this 100% move. incredible. Then you come down to near. Let's find near real quick. Where is near? How is it so far down on my list? We'll just type it in. NEAR. Boom. Okay, let's look at it. Near. Let's go to the weekly. I mean, it looks frustrating like everything else, right? That's on the weekly chart, but it's right here. I mean, everything feels. And I said this the other. I think it was Friday, right, Drew? It's felt the entire crypto ecosystem for the last year. About every 4 days or once a week, it's like right now everything is exactly on the cusp. It's felt that way. That's why it's so exhausting, because we keep
a lot of
seeing
edges.
but it's sitting right here on this edge. But look at that spike in volume. Look at that spike in volume right here. Massive spike in volume coming in on this. This is a weekly chart. But even with that run up, pretty nice run up. I mean, look at that. That's not bad. 83% run up. I did not realize Near did an 83% pump, but it's right to that gateway to that next move higher. And we see the money flows come up. The momentum's still positive, but very muted. And look at this. This is bullish to me that the price has done all that. And the whole time the RSI is stuck here in this middle territory with the strength is not yet in control, and yet the price was still able to do that. So that is Near. What was the other one you want to look at? Should we look at Zcash?
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be fun to just run through all the different privacy coins. Monero, Near, Near has adjacency, but Zcash, really the whole privacy sector, because the UK news, that's going to make its rounds. We just had 86 million bank accounts shut down in, I think, South Korea or Vietnam or something like that. This stuff actually does cause people to go look at privacy-focused finance projects. So I think we should just take a moment here and go through these privacy coins.
So we got Zcash up. We did Monero. What I'd be watching for on this, you can do a fib from down here, but this is definitely obviously caught the narrative. And this has run up so much, I thought I had the wrong chart up, because I was like, but it was already up to 700 and now 500. Yeah, that's how much it's moved. That's how small this is showing on this chart. This is 753 to here, a couple $100 down. And look at this. It's kind of making a bull flag a bit right now as we speak. But if this were to lose 472, I'll be watching for another opportunity at $300, which would be ultimately still very bullish, because these pullbacks to the golden pocket tend to be still quite bullish. What's that? What are some of the other privacy coins or adjacent?
Well, I mean, we could check out Midnight. Midnight's a play. It's Night. Yeah, I think it's Night Tether. It's the play from Cardano. It came out. It hasn't gotten much love yet. I kind of am just curious about what this chart actually looks like here. I haven't looked at it.
Let me see if there's an older.
That like not much data on that one.
No, I mean that's it. The only chart that I can even find is the gate chart. So there's not much to, there's not enough real data to really. I mean, to me, it's so new and there's not much information here. This is one of those ones that if you put a very small, not like a third of your portfolio, very small allotment too, and if it pops, it pops. What are there any other ones?
No, I think seeing the general movement of people interested in privacy, I think is good for society. And really the main ones in my mind are Zcash and Monero. And another side of this is the data sharing. And I did see pretty good write-up on Kobayashi letter talking about CPI inflation data quality continuing to decline. So 40% of CPI items were estimated, up from 36% in August. When price data is unavailable, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics fills the gap with estimated values. Now, this is bullish for Chainlink, because Chainlink was just chosen and highlighted by the White House of the United States to have a hand in sharing GDP CPI data. And that actually makes me pretty damn bullish for just bringing truth to the people, not just, price action and integration from Chainlink, but I think the injection of truth to the average American is very, very important as well. Let's see here. I want to go through the chat. Actually, I was curious because I haven't even looked at this. I probably qualify for a large amount of Midnight token as well. I do got to go back through that and see if I've actually qualified for that or not. But I'm a fan of privacy. And there's a lot of things that crypto, not only on the privacy aspect, the truth to data aspect of it, but you brought this post up, Kelly. Hello, Alexander G. Good to see you. Trump talking about the current financial system being outdated and going to be
The
replaced
entire
with
financial system is outdated and will be, can you believe we're going to say it? It will be replaced with crypto. Yeah, so we're still navigating the content strikes on YouTube for copyright. So we just had to import his voice there, but
yeah.
that's what he's saying. He's saying it at the White House in the East Wing or East Room or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, because we've always talked about the plumbing of finance and communication being overhauled by crypto, and now literally the president of the world superpower America is now openly saying this inside of the White House. I am not ready to get rid of my bags, and honestly, like Chainlink is one of the ones that I'm holding for a pretty good amount of time. Like I gotta say, I am going to be holding Chainlink for a pretty good amount of time. I do actually want to check in on a token that launched today and see where the price is at. This is Canton Network. We did a deep dive on this on the channel over the weekend, or rather last week. Let's actually check out where that is. This one, BlackRock's next crypto target leaked, and it's Canton Network. It just went live today. I got on to Kraken. I do hope that they actually get this available on Blowfin and a couple other exchanges that I prefer to use. But Canton Network looks pretty damn strong to me. Is this the ecosystem overscope? What is
Yeah,
this?
I found this. I was like, what the hell? Like, this is, I was like, whoa. Though my only pushback on it is with the FDV right now, with the price, 39 billion tokens at I think it's around 11 cents or something. It actually puts it at about a $4 billion market cap. So essentially it's launching larger than Ondo, right? And I'm not weighing this against Ondo. I'm just saying that you're not getting in on something that, you know, is a $200 million market cap that has this very explosive amount to grow in a very quick time frame. I do think that this is I mean, it was incredible. When you brought it up to me, I thought it was a glitch. When you showed me it was at the top of RWA XYZ.
Yeah.
And it had like 480 billion or 460.
It's still there.
Billion.
$403 billion.
Yeah.
And I know that $5 billion market cap on launch seems like a lot, but guess who the companies are that are doing test transactions on this?
Goldman Sachs. It ties into the narrative that you just said about privacy.
Yes.
I mean, look at this.
Yes.
Time to build a privacy-enabled L1 for RWAs, right? So there's all these things are getting tied together all of a sudden.
Yeah. And it's not that the institutions or these magic companies like let's see here. It's Goldman Sachs that's doing tests on it, IBM, Deutsche Bank, Microsoft, tiny companies, right? So we look at a $5 billion market cap, we're like, whoa, that's way too much. But when we really think about the size of these firms and how much money flows through these things, it's basically the beginning of it. Like, look at this. I'll give you guys just a quick run through. So these are the investors: Goldman Sachs, IBM, Circle Ventures, Salesforce, Blackstone, a subsidiary of BlackRock, Citadel, BNP. And this is like, everyone keeps asking if I'm like sponsored by them. No, I smell massive money coming into this protocol for a myriad of different reasons. And I'm going to pick me up some, right? I'm going to pick me up some. I don't own any yet. It just came out. Usually my rule of thumb is to make sure the stick is smaller than, no, I'm just kidding. It is to make sure that the sell-off of the initial release happens, and then I can find that kind of equilibrium when the price wants to kind of even out. But this is happening, and Coinbase isn't being shy about it. The CEO, Brian Armstrong, came on CNBC, talked about $100 trillion of capital and credit markets can be rebuilt on Bitcoin and crypto. Coinbase being the golden child of the United States. He's saying that we're actively updating the financial system. This is in tandem with the words that Donald Trump has said. This is in tandem with the words that Paul Atkins, the lead of the SEC, has made clear. They wouldn't be saying these things if they didn't mean it, right? So I'm taking this situation seriously. I am just moving with concise long-term research, and I'm not overexposing myself, let's say, to Canton, but my exposure is going to be around 1% to 2% of my portfolio. I am going to get in on this thing, and I'm going to have a piece of this pie in case it goes absolutely ballistic a lot of people are dumbfounded. They want the 4-year cycle to just rinse and repeat. And there are structural differences and infrastructural intentions that are completely different than they ever have been for how we can use crypto. So, and it's a time I got to be aggressive. Like, look at this, Kelly. So, a Malibu homeowner tells Jeff Vaughn his insurance premium that was presented to his family to cover their home from the fires, it minus the earthquake coverage, is $90,000 per year. Limited insurance options, companies like State Farm, Allstate, Farmers, Nationwide, and other major companies have stopped writing new policies in California, right? There is a massive, massive squeeze on the cost of insurance. The taxes are going to continue to increase on homes. And this is why I have to think outside of the box and kind of change with this macroeconomic environment to make sure my family is positioned to succeed. It is something I have to be aggressive about. But you know what? If it was easy and it was obvious, everyone would do it and there'd be no massive upside to it. That really is the situation at hand, and you have to move bravely in these timeframes. Kelly, you showed me this nightmare fuel. I have to show this. U.S. engineers, Tornil, palm-sized drones that hunt and kill mosquitoes midair. Are you excited about this, Kelly? Is this something you're looking forward to or something?
You know, when I saw this, it's I've become so cynical in my mid young old age. You know, I'll be 42 here in a couple months, and I see this, and you're like, awesome, you could have some drones just hunting mosquitoes in your backyard. And then I just think about how, like, the intention or the perceived intention of why things have been launched in the last 30 years and what the outcome has actually been. And I look at this like doom tech. It's like,
no, it's insane. I mean, honestly, it's terrifying. And you're right. Like, I live in Georgia. I love taking out mosquitoes, but I've found other ways to take care of mosquitoes. Okay. There are other ways to take care of mosquitoes.
What happened to a good old citronella candle, man?
That, and I also have a fan that pulls air in, and it gives off a pheromone that attracts the mosquitoes in. It uses a special kind of light. And I end up with about 2 gallons of mosquitoes that are alive, but very tired from fighting the wind. And I feed them to my chickens, right? So it is a buffet for the chickens. It's a way to save on chicken food. It's organic. And they can go and eat all of these tired mosquitoes at zero cost to me.
Have hepatitis now?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. What's up, expat Negnos? It's just a way that, you know, I know I don't look like a hillbilly, but I am a hillbilly at heart. You are experiencing the evolved version of Drew, the VMAX version of Drew, and I'm not sorry about it.
Drew is like hillbilly Harvard.
Hillbilly Harvard. I like it. I like it. You know, this is a time frame where, like, I am cautiously optimistic for the future, but retaining food production and things of that nature still matter to me in the background. And it's a good way to help out your neighborhood, right? It's a good way to help out the people around you. Let's go to the chat here. Are we still? I don't think Trump's actually going live. Shout out to you, Matthew King. Doesn't look like Trump. He's, what is he doing today, Kelly? Isn't he like swearing someone in?
Closed door events, and I think at 3:00 he's confirming the ambassador to India or something like that.
Yeah, so that's not worth covering. That's not worth covering. But I'm glad we caught that live pass out last week. That was absolutely crazy. So, Kelly, I want to check out something here on your charts. What do you got, brother?
Well, I just wanted to highlight, I do this sometimes where I save this chart from when we did the Discord this morning. And this is the liquidation heat map. We talked about the levels of both above and below. We talked about what would happen if the price came and filled any of those. So let's go ahead and refresh and see how, oh, look at that. Ooh. It came down and tapped that level perfectly. It's almost like the move was just to tap the liquidity, and then nice bullish structure kind of coming back up. So as it stands right now, you know, in the near term between now and Wednesday, I wouldn't be surprised if this tried to, again, we haven't seen that the funding rates flip bearish yet. So it wouldn't be surprising for this to tap down into the 104s, clear the CME gap that's there at 104.2, which we have not done yet, and clear that out. If this is able to move up, we're going to want to watch if the price does tap into this zone. If it just taps into it and then breaks back down, we still have some work to do. As bullish as I am on where we're going in the near term, the next week, the next week's going to be very pivotal, especially with everything going on with the government shutdown and the extension, FOMC meeting coming up in December. Quantitative tightening supposed to be stopping December 1st. I think you could argue a signal in either direction has validity. So I think there's going to be people trapped on both sides right now.
Right.
So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the near term.
Well, and I don't blame people for being afraid of where we're going in this market. Me personally, though, I'm layering into some deep picks here. This Linnea, I'm going to give you something. I put this in Discord. This is one of them. I'm giving you for free here. So we've been building a position, and basically my first entry point was like 12.5. I did 12 flat last night, and doubled up my position. This does, to me, look like a massive reversal. I think something very important, though, would be to look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. I got in a little tiff with Benjamin Cowan, and if he's right, I'm going to get spanked. But this is what I'm thinking is going to happen. I think Bitcoin dominance looks weak as hell right now. And I think that Bitcoin dominance is headed down to 50%. That's what I feel like. So right now, I have continued my game plan. I have my conviction. I think that this Bitcoin dominance is going to stay within the shoulder realm and drop down, find that first layer of next support at 55%, do the little wobble, dead cat bounce, and then head down to 50% while the price of Bitcoin continues to rise. Do you have any other thoughts on Bitcoin dominance? Because this is how I feel things are going to happen. I'm definitely putting my tuchus up in the air, but what do you think Bitcoin dominance is going to end up looking like, Kelly?
I mean, you know what? Somewhat similar. I mean, we came up. This was that green zone that we had highlighted for quite some time coming down. If this flushed through, we get a pretty big move in alts. We did. Unfortunately, we got that reversal on the dominance when we had the October 10th washout. But notice, think of it this like price action. Notice how this happened. This move, massive flush up with the wick, but then the subsequent move here really beautifully kind of just, I mean, you could draw a trend line across here,
Right.
and it's rejecting here. It's looking weak as it could be. Money flows coming out of this. The RSI is getting weaker. Look at where it's holding up right now, right on that midline that I always love to watch at 50%. If this has another little bit of a retort back to the upside, I think it's going to be weaker. I think we'll get a lower high and then break down. If this is not able to do that and this breaks down from here, then I think we get a lot of weakness coming into dominance very quickly, and we start to see some alts move very quickly.
Well, and imagine the smell. Imagine the smell of the people that called this down and ran away from altcoins if that situation does occur, which is indeed where I'm putting my bets on, right? And just in general, like I did a way heavier buy on Bitcoin than any of the alts. That being said, I did get in position for some staking mechanics on Solana just in anticipation of the Solana staked ETFs going live. Also, I'll talk about something that's on the stock market. I know I don't talk about this much, but I have a general thesis about nuclear energy coming back in a very, very big way here in the United States. And I picked up some of this. All right, let's go here. Boom, boom. So this is nano nuclear energy. I picked up some right around where it's at right now, $39 a share. And many people would look at this as a top out. I think that there's going to be government incentives to push nuclear energy firms back up to levels that we could only have imagined. So I am interested in diverse.
You know what? To your credit, Drew, go back to that chart. To your credit, that entire performance has been in the face of very strict nuclear policy in the U.S. That's only become more constrictive, really, in the last 30 years. And that's getting flipped on its head right now.
Right.
There's two big pushes Trump has made. One is the power deployment, right? Getting power back at different data centers, AI, mining, and everything. There's this exponential need for energy right now.
Yeah.
And at the same pace, not only with coal and oil and all this, also realizing that some of the issues that we've had with nuclear in the past in the US have been from really bad mismanagement and human error. The technology has advanced to such a state now that the overwhelming benefits to having nuclear power, and it's an exponential benefit to having nuclear power versus the threats that can be mitigated now with all the technology we have. It's stupid not to push that forward, especially with the exponential need for energy that's going to really disproportionately also affect people's energy costs at home. So they're
Mhm.
going to need to do something. So I think finding an energy stock like that, especially within nuclear, as this policy is ramping up to support that industry,
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant.
Well, and fair warning, this is a Price Oracle deep pick. This is a deep pick from my wife. And I've been studying the company and watching the chart for quite some time. But the overall thesis is backed by, additionally to what Kelly just said, the rollout of AI. A lot of people do not understand how much energy is going to be required for corporations at large to automate AI systems and utilize that data and expanse of that data without completely overhauling and 10xing our industry of energy production as they sit right now. Now, we talk about things of the nature of electronic vehicles. That's going to be structural concrete upgrades to parking garages. That's going to be lithium production here in the United States. That's going to be refineries here in the United States. There's a litany of opportunities that are knocking at our door right now over the next few years that we can absolutely make lots of money looking at and being early to. And beyond that, into 2030, I have a thesis that nanotechnology and nanomedical technology is going to be the real hot ticket, the real nasty upside. So stick with me along the years, and we will go into each different sector as it begins to bubble up and get positioned before those nasty gains hit their upsides. We're getting positioned early. Many people think I'm crazy when I talk about things 5, 10 years ahead of time. But you know what? I wrote a song about COVID in 2014. I talked about Ukraine. 2016, right? I was well ahead of a lot of what we've seen unravel over the past few years. I feel no sorriness, no skittishness about saying these things because I dedicate my life to research and keeping the crowd ahead of these massive movements so we can make money off of them. That's the point here. Sorry, I just had to go on a little bit of a rant there, but there's a lot of opportunity coming. I feel good about the time frame right now. Yes, I am a prepper. I prepare in case things go to hell in a handbasket. But on top of that, I'm out here looking for that biscuit. And you can't get lucky if you ain't at the fair, right? So, what is this you got going on in your computer here? Let me see, Kelly.
Oh,
What is
just
this?
looking at this report. Basically, world's growing demand for energy and computing power can't be met responsibly because right now people don't realize there's data centers and all these different things that are out there right now and
Mhm.
AI infrastructure and mining that are already built and are on like 2-year, 4-year, 5-year waiting lists to get energy needs met
Yeah,
to get in there and do that to make those things possible. So there's a ton of things being built right now, infrastructure that's going to be deployed that is going to meet that. I think the flip of these new energy policies that come out and the number
Mhm.
of different businesses that are going to absolutely boom is going to be insane.
Absolutely.
It's I can't even believe like we don't feel like we live like the Jetsons, but you realize George Jefferson was built before today. He was born before today. Like back in the 60s or 70s, whenever that cartoon came out, George Jefferson was built in like not built, born in like I think it's like 2018 or 2020,
Mhm.
something like that. We're
Mhm.
living in the time of the Jetsons. It doesn't feel like it because we see all these changes day in and day out. But I remember back before cell phones, you had to remember everybody's house number. I remember
Right.
before in Google Maps. I remember, and now we live in this world where we don't recognize how fast things are changing, and energy needs are going to absolutely balloon for what's coming. So there's so much infrastructure and business that's going to be absolutely just slingshot to the upside through all of this.
And shout out to Dion. He's talking about George Droid being built now. Man, that is going to be one hell of an AI robot. Now, we are under a DDoS attack of the average person's attention span. So I do thank every single one of you for spending your most valuable asset on planet Earth throughout your life, which is your time, spending it here with us on Discover Crypto with me and Kelly Kelman. I do implore you to take on some hobbies. Okay. I know the market can be scary, but you know what? Use a hobby to keep you creative, right? Have a creative hobby. Also, find a hobby that can help keep you in shape. And the final one, find a hobby that makes you what, folks? Makes you money. All right. Please, for the love of God, don't let the psyop, the overwhelming amount of information coming at you right now, overwhelm your senses and keep you in a state of analysis paralysis. This is not the time to take the feet off of the pedal. Shout out to Alexander G, George Jefferson.
Did I say George Jefferson instead of Jetson? That's funny.
potentially,
Yeah.
potentially.
Well, you know what I
potentially.
meant. I meant the Jetson, not
Yeah.
George Jefferson, you know?
And I got to give you your flowers on the weekend video, Kelly. You took a risk. You called out something that I think not enough people are paying attention for. I do implore you guys, like obviously I'm proud of my Canton video, but this video Kelly made really lays out the groundwork for what to expect in the differences of where liquidity is going right now, how low or high liquidity has been, even amidst this recent all-time high in Bitcoin and crypto. Altcoins still quite sleepy. So
The bull
love and
run-
appreciate it.
The bull
What's
run
that?
has not even happened yet, everybody. So stack. That's just
Yo, dude, don't give it away, man. Don't give it away. I think you guys need to go watch the proof. The proof is in the pudding here on the show. Urgent Bitcoin warning. So I love and appreciate every single one of you out there. Thank you for supporting us on this channel. Make sure if you don't already have diversification into a long-term IRA type situation and you're interested in doing so, we have a great partner. You can call 877-936-7175. Again, 877-936-7175. You get a real person on the phone. You better tell them that the boys at Discover Crypto, Drew and Kelly, sent you and set up for the long term. We are a community of long-term vision for Bitcoin, and they are a great partner that supports this channel. And we had a great show on Friday with Chris from the organization. So absolutely love it. Kelly, send us away. And you know what? We are set up for some beautiful times here. Let them know.
You know what? The best is yet to come. You might have to be a little bit more patient than you were expecting, but the best things always come. Magic grows when you can let it develop. And I think right now, the biggest blessing we have in this market is that we are aware of what's coming, even if it's taking longer than you initially expected. But the longer period right now of that you were expecting means that you've had more time to stack, more time to learn. So dive in. And with that, everybody, will see you into, I guess we got a video coming out this evening, but we'll also see you tomorrow.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.